In our last few videos, we talked about factoring if we had 3 terms. We are now going to be looking at things that have 2 terms. In this example, I have 9x squared minus 36. I have an a term and I have a c term. I do not have a b term. Remember, my b term should be right next to an x. I only have x squared and then I have a constant. So I have an a and a c. Another thing I notice about these numbers is that they are perfect squares. There's actually an equation called differences of squares, and I'm going to put it up here. So it does give me this equation. One is going to have a minus sign and the other one is going to have a plus sign. But I first need to find the square root of these numbers. So a number multiplied by itself will give me 9, and that is the number 3. A number multiplied by itself to give you 36 is the number 6. 6 times 6 does give me 36. So I just found out my a and c term. I know my beginning is my a term, and we said my a term is now going to be 3. And then my c term, we said my c term is now 6. This is going to be my answer right here. 3x minus 6 and then 3x plus 6. This only works if my numbers is only my a term and c term and they are perfect squares. That is the only way this is going to work. It's called the differences of squares. So this would have been my factored form right here. So this is my factored form. If it asks me to solve for it, remember to solve for it, I'm going to set each parentheses equal to 0. So I'm going to do that first one. And I'm going to solve for 0. I always start with my constant first. That eliminates, I'm left with 3x is equal to a positive 6. To get rid of this 3 in front of it, I will have to divide. That means x is equal to 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. All right, and then I'm going to do the next one, 3x plus 6 equals 0, and then I start all over again. Remember, it is a negative 6. Negative 6 divided by 3 does give me a negative 2. So I could say my solution is, my solutions or my zeros, we're going to say the zeros are, remember solutions and zeros are the exact same thing. We're going to go with negative 2 and a positive 2. So we factored and we solved, and this is just one day that we did. It's called differences of squares. It only works, once again, if I have an a value and a c value, and both terms are perfect squares. And then our next day, we talked about solving quadratic equations in a word problem and to find the domain. So let's take a look at this problem. So it says Jose kicks a soccer ball and it can be demonstrated in the function of negative x squared plus 25x, and it's asking me how many seconds does it hit the ground. So just for our image, we can say that this is Jose right here. And he kicks a soccer ball, and we know the soccer ball will look like this. Eventually, it wants me to know where will it land. I don't need a picture. I do need to solve for when it lands. So when it lands, we could think about it being a graph that it starts at 0, of course. And we want to know where will it land over here. So my x. I'm going to be solving for x in this problem then. All right. So I'm going to rewrite that equation one more time. I know it doesn't have a coefficient, but I know it's a coefficient of 1. So I have negative 1x squared plus 25x. This is a little different from my last think aloud because we had an A term and we had a C term. But in this case, I have an A term and I have a B term. When I have an A term and a B term, I know they're both going to have x in common. So I'm going to be taking that variable out. And what I'm left inside the parentheses is negative 1x and a positive 25. I want to know when it's going to hit the ground. So based on this equation, remember in our last video, we talked about solving for solutions or solving for zeros. We are going to be setting each of our things equal to 0. I'm going to grab the beginning, x, even though it's not in the parentheses, it's still part of the equation. X is equal to 0. Well, it looks like I don't need to solve for 0 in that one, but let me grab the next, what's inside the parentheses. Negative 1x plus 25 is equal to 0. I'm going to be solving for x again. I always start with my constants first. Negative right there. I need to get rid of that negative 1, so I need to divide. So I could say that x is equal to 25. I'm not done just yet. It tells me when will it hit the ground. My x represents time. And I need to think about which is going to be reasonable. I know my time's at 0 and my time as 25 seconds. When will it hit the ground? Well, 0 is the very beginning. I know that may not be plausible for the ball to return right at 0. However, 25 does sound reasonable. So I could say the ball hits the ground in 25 seconds. All right, and that is the first question. Our second question is down here, and it's asking what is the domain? Remember, domain, I always think of Dr. XY. Domain means all of our x value. And just before this problem, we just solved for x. We know x is going to be 0, and we know our x is going to be 25. And I'm going to be using those numbers when I'm finding the domain. So I always want my lowest number first, which is that 0. It's going to be our x value is less than or equal to my highest number, which is 25, right? And that is how I find domain. Domain means all of my x values. I want my lowest number first to my highest number. And that is just telling me how long or how much the ball was up in the air. As soon as I hit the ball at 0 seconds, the timer starts and it was up in the air up until 25 seconds. And that is it about domain in a real world scenario. So as a reminder, we have our A value and we have our B value. All I have to factor out is my X. That's what A and B have in common. As soon as I was done with that, I solved for X. And then I found out which one sounds more reasonable, 0 seconds or 25 seconds. 25 seconds sounds reasonable. And then I found the domain. Since we solved for X, it was a whole lot easy to find those domains.